Hey FLOSSTUBE, it's Leigh from Creatively on Sunday 25th of July with FLOSSTUBE number 85. Yep. And last Sunday in July, crazy, right? It's quite late in the afternoon, 3:30ish. I'm on my second glass of wine. I thought that I'd better get this video done, otherwise by the time I finish that glass of wine, I'm probably going to want to go sleepy bye-bye, because me and wine's like, but it's been so warm today. Weather report for the day, lovely day, second lovely day in a row. Carries on like this. I'm going to have to water my lawn myself. Lawn is good. No rain for a couple of days is excellent. Very exciting things happening with the due to COVID outbreaks in Australia and half of Australia in lockdown. The Trans-Tasman travel bubble has been closed, so New Zealand's shutting that down, and basically everyone was called home by Auntie Jacinda. So the government's given New Zealanders 7 days to get home before from states other than New South Wales to quarantine free, but they've got to have a PCR test before they leave. So anyway, we've brought Dad's flight forward, so he comes home on Friday, which is 2 days earlier, but just before the 7-day notice period ends. So it was a bit exciting. On, I don't even remember what day, yesterday, Friday, but exciting on Friday. We suspected it was going to happen, and anyway, it's just we're in a pandemic, in case anyone didn't know, and travelling is just a little bit exciting. Anyway, Dad's had a good time thus far. 1 more week with my sister. They're pretty low risk where they are and their lifestyle and stuff, so he's booked in for a PCR test on Tuesday, and then should be able to come home on Friday and without any drama, so that's pretty cool. So that's what's happening with the old Dad and travelling and the COVID. Work is crazy. Work's just full of joy and challenges. So it was a full-on week last week, and thank goodness we have weekends, and I'm not working at the weekend, so I refuse to at this stage. For me, working at weekends is when you get into, you know, critical path, something's due like immediately, not, yeah, it's just there's too much going on to do that. So I have taken the weekend to enjoy. My friend Tracy came out yesterday and visited. Some of you who have been around a little while may recall I stitched a Lynette kit of hers for her, called Waiting on a Summer's Evening. No, I always say waiting because she's sitting on a dock. It looks like she's waiting for someone. It's called Enjoying a Summer's Evening, and it's a wee lass sitting on a dock with her feet in the water and a few gulls flying around. So I stitched that for her last year, and she wanted to get it framed, so we took it into the framer this weekend. I've got a couple of pieces in. I can't remember the lady's name, the framing lady. She showed me where she was at with them. They're both just she's still working on the lacing because she wants them to be nice and straight, and so do I, and they're biggish pieces, and I'm not getting mats, which is a little bit less forgiving. So she said they're not that far away, so I should have a couple of pieces fully finishes to show you soon, which we'll be excited about. My wallet's less excited, but you know, that's how it is. You don't get stuff on the walls without spending a bit of coin, right? A couple of new things in, only a couple, but first up, my friend Tracy gave me a little needleminder yesterday, because of course I'm on this peacock kick at the moment. I don't even know why, but I am. So it's very cute. So I use a clipboard that sits on the arm of my chair that I just, if I'm using a chart, I clip the chart to it, and I keep 3 or 4 needle minders on the metal clip, and that's where I just throw my needles or whatever, so it will join. And I have them in a couple of places in my office as well, because I often find a needle on the floor or a pin, and I can at least pick it up and just whack it on a needle minder. So on my lamp in my craft room, I've got a needle minder that's just there holding things that I've found in my slippers or on the floor. Usually I found them with my feet, because that's how it works, right? The only other new thing that I've got in is my monthly Rainbow Club from Country Stitch, and I went with a mystery this time because I wasn't organised to ask for anything. So it's 32 count Belfast in the colourway Winter Green at quarter, and it's looks like that, and that's the back side. I often stitch on the back side of Catherine's fabrics, but sometimes when there's like really obvious like watermarks and stuff, you want to see that. So it just depends on the piece I'm stitching on. But if you stitch on the back, they tend to be a little bit more muted and less blotchy. So it really just depends on how I feel. But and like when you go to a store and you're trying a t-shirt, you can never fold it up like they had it. Here we go. So I don't have any specific plans for that, but something will come along one day, right? Oh, I meant to say welcome to new subscribers. I mean, welcome back to my old faithfuls. I enjoy you come back every week to enjoy me with your coffee. But also I've had quite a jump up of subscribers in the last 3 or 4 weeks, and I appreciate you coming along and clicking the subscribe button. So I've had a few comments lately, how have I got to 84 videos, well now 85, without people knowing about me? And it's like, well, I'm like just a bit low-key Kiwi, I guess, and we have to blame the algorithm. I don't know, it's not that exciting maybe. Perhaps no one can understand my accent. But anyway, I appreciate you coming along. I will be having a 500 sub giveaway. I'm a little way away from that yet, but I'll make it a nice one. So it'll probably be a nice little package of bits and pieces. So yeah, if you haven't hit the subscribe button and you come along pretty regularly, why not do that? And then, I mean, you know, doesn't really hurt, I guess. But yeah, I'll have a giveaway at 500 for my subscribers. But yeah, a few weeks off that yet. So oh, the only other thing I bought as well, Spotlight had a sale. No, well, they kind of did. They had a voucher this week for subscribers or VIP members, $40 off of $100 spend. So if you buy enough DMC, you get that at like $1.05 a skein instead of $1.75. So I went through a few of my projects that I knew would need sort of, you know, at least half to a full skein or more of DMCs. So I bought a big pile of DMC and just a few spools of Gutermann silk for a couple of projects that you know, it's DMC. Here's some DMC. But other than that, I've been pretty good. So yeah, it was just too good a bargain to pass up. So that was fun. And the other thing too is I went through my stash of my overflow of DMC. So both DMC stuff that I'd bought either for projects that I'd bought too much and didn't need, or I bought for projects that I then de-kitted or UFO'd, but also a big, you know, the 2 big piles of stash that I got from my friend Tracy and also from Gail, and I managed to pull about 50 or 60 skeins of DMC out of there for various projects. So that was pretty cool that I could do that. And now I need to go through and I'm going to whip through and do an inventory of the rest, because it was kind of a nuisance going through each time. I need to just put them in a spreadsheet and sort it, and that way I can check the spreadsheet first. Yeah, I'll just do that maybe when I'm sitting watching the telly or something. So I need to do that. Okay, 10 minutes. Do you want to see some stitching? I'm sure you do. Okay, what have I stitched on this week? Well, despite actually not stitching for a couple of days because I went out to a show and I went out to a few things and worked late, and most of yesterday I was out, still managed to get a little bit done. So first up, I'm going to show you a finish. And a few of you know, because I already told you or hinted at, I decided to keep going with R-Kade. Oh, and I didn't write down when I finished it. Oh, yes I did. So R-Kade from Long Dog Sampler that I'm stitching on 36 count Geyser linen from Country Stitch, and I used SILKS4U PR137 and DMC 500, and then some Kreinik 085. I also used another DMC 74. I can't remember. And the little hearts and the O's, I stitched it with a pale yellow. You'll see it in a minute. Started it 5th of September and I finished last year, and I finished it on 20 July 2021. I stayed up so late that night. I've got to stop staying up late. Finishing things, but I did. And I got it done. It was just like, you know, you get so far and there she is in all her glory, filling up the frame. And I'm very, very pleased with it. My board's not quite wide enough. It goes around the edge, but yeah. So if I close up on a couple of the O's, I just put a little bit of light coloured hearts into the O's. Yeah, that's pretty good. So yay, another. So that's this is my 4th long dog I finished, having done Death by Cross Stitch, The Pilgrim, Hoity Toity, and now R-Kade. Big finish, right? So very pleased with that. Another one's going to go in the pile. I then picked up on Friday night. I've decided this is my Friday night stitching, Away We Ride, that I'm doing a stitch along or start along with Zeb, and that's on 36 count Tussock by Country Stitch, and it's a partial conversion, and I did a little bit more on that. So I stitched just pretty much from where? Somewhere down here. I think pretty much most of this side here I did. So it's only the top's about here. It's not very big. I think there's 3 black ones of these because they alternate, or not alternate, they change colour. It's so pretty. So yeah, I'll just carry on with the border, get the border done, and then I can do all the fun stuff, right? So that was Friday night, and I did do a little bit on Saturday morning. But I kind of slept in late Saturday, that I had to get up and meet my friend Tracy anyway, so you know, a little tiny bit. And then yesterday, when I was talking with Tracy, I was fluffing around with DMC and stuff while she was sitting here and we were chatting, and then I said I've pulled a few things out just to kit over the next week or so, using, you know, all the overdyes and silks that I've got, a couple of things, you know, that will go in the box. But I had this chart that I bought. It's off of Etsy from BaaMeow, Etsy.com. A few weeks ago she reached out on Instagram and just said, you know, she's a small designer, her shop wasn't getting much traffic, could the community help? So I think a lot of us just went, favorited her shop in Etsy. I thought, well, I'll buy a little chart. Most of her charts aren't my cup of tea, but you know, sort of support a small shop. So I decided to get this one because I'm quite fond of Egyptian history, Egyptian art, Bast, and I decided after Tracy left, after I got home from dropping her off, I decided, screw it, I'm just going to stitch it. So I stitched it. So I started it last night and I finished it this morning, and it's kind of the called for in that I used nearly a skein of DMC, thank you Gail, that was from your stash that you gave me. It is the called for, this blue, the blue, lighter blue is actually a different shade than called for, because I found the two called for blues was almost identical, but on the chart, on the mock-up, you can see there's a shading in the blue on the forehead and the chin. So I swapped that out. The gold thread is called for, but it was called for one strand of 02 high luster, 002 Kreinik, and I doubled it, and in some places did it 4 times. So on top of the eye here and around most of this eye and most of this, I did a combination of 2 strands and 4 strands. The beads are not called for, they were just out of my stash that I've got, you know, from leftover from projects, and I made a couple of errors, so the earrings aren't quite as charted, but I think they look really cute. And I think the way that I did the eye with the extra gold, making the gold thicker, I think makes it stand out. This isn't even a mock-up, this is actually a model. I realise it's not a mock-up, but you don't lose, you lose the gold shimmer. So yeah, I just think that mine came out, mine just came out a little bit bolder with the gold. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. I think the eyes look fantastic, and that's what you really want. So yeah, I'm going to make it just into a little cushion or something. So that was a start and a finish. Started yesterday and finished today, and yeah, so check out her channel. From memory, she's got, I want to say TV stuff or kind of, oh no, I don't know, just go and have a look anyway. BaaMeow from Etsy.com. Cool. So that is pretty much what I stitched on this week. Finished R-Kade, a little bit on Away We Ride, and a start and a finish with a small. So yay me, pretty happy with my progress. I'll show you, I'm going to show you 3 more things that are kitted up in my box, just to fill in a little bit more time. Some of these you've seen before, but not everyone's been here forever. So first up, this one is, I kitted up this a little while ago. This is 1816 Vierlander sampler. And it was, I got it from Ridley. It is from sampler and antique needlework quarterly. It was in 3 or 4 parts. So part 1 was in summer 2015, and then 3 or 4 parts followed from there. So she's a big one, 451 by 332, and I'm going to stitch it on 45 count limestone linen from Country Stitch, and I'm going to use, I think, it could change, so I'm going to use the limestone linen, and I'm using Weeks Dye Works quilting cotton, because the called for was a dark brown. I've gone with a mid brown. So Weeks Dye Works quilting cotton 1223, nope, 1233 in cocoa. like that. And I'm going, there's a little bit of red, a couple of little red highlights, and I'm going to use this Gutermann silk in colour 26. So they're going to be, it's only a tiny bit of red that's on the sampler. So that is going to be quite a beast to stitch. I'll flash you the chart because it's from Redley. It's you know, this big, and it's quite detailed. So, but you know, it's a Quaker, so each little motif, or even a big motif, but a motif is such a doable sort of thing that I get a little sense of achievement, right? I expect this to take me a little while. I'm not expecting this to be some kind of quick as project or anything, but I haven't stitched anything on 45, so I'm quite looking forward to that. She says now, so that's in the box, and also it's using materials I've not used before, the Gutermann silk, which is just like 103, but different brand, and the DMC cotton. Nope, Weeks Dye Works cotton. I forgot to put the picture in the bag. So yeah, again, sampler and antique needlework quarterly. The first part is summer 2015. So if you like it, you can sign up, or you can get a free month with Redley. Go in and save the charts. I kind of flashed this the other day, but I've got everything together now. So I know, and the fabric came in the other week, and I forgot what it was for, and it was for this. So I talked about this a few weeks ago, that I got the Modern Folk Embroidery Rule of Life. So this was a fundraising chart that collaboration with Jacob Modern Folk Embroidery with Evertote and Leo and Roxy. So I'm stitching this on, going to stitch this on 40 count parchment from Country Stitch using the Leo and Roxy called for. So I've gone with quite a parchmenty fabric, and why is everything in a plastic bag? I don't know. And here's the called for Leo and Roxy floss, which I showed last week, I think. But yeah, it's gonna look pretty cool, I think. So yeah, I don't know when I'm gonna, like, it's a stitch along at the moment, but I'm not really that worried about it. I'll just start it whenever, you know, either soon or next year. But that one's ready, and then the last one that I've charted up that I showed you, I don't know if I did show you. Okay, no, okay. I bought this ages ago from Etsy. It's Cliffside Stitches Moroccan sampler. I have, like, you know, computer generated mock-ups are just, trust me, if ever you're not sure, stitched up 99.9% of the time, the stitched up project is going to look a million times better than the computer generated mock-up, because it's flat and it has no definition and no texture. But then you go like me and you decide, I'm not going to stitch it on white, I'm going to stitch it on 36 count persimmon fabric from Fibre on a Whim. Why? Because this is the colour of Marrakesh. This is the colour of the sandstone and the buildings, and it's a more mottled version of what I stitched my Marrakesh night mandala on from Châtelaine. So I'm going to stitch it on this. But what it meant is that the colours didn't quite work. So I've done a colour conversion. So I worked out my colours, and then with the, I'm missing one. So I'm missing 729. Well, that's dumb. Okay, I'm missing 729, but that's fine. Imagine I've got 729 in this pile, but I pretty much picked up the colours yesterday on my DMC haul. So change the blues. I think the only colour I've kept is the 939, the navy, which I think is used for a bit of back stitching. And I've gone with a more coppery gold, the aqua and the true blue, what's that, sea glass green, 918, so a more rusty red, and then I've made the purple, I picked one that was a little bit more on the violet side. So I think that's going to look really cool. So, and somewhere I've got 729, or maybe they were out of a few colours. So that's exciting. So it's going to look very different to this. It's going to look a little bit more earthy and it's going to have more texture, and it's going to be really fantastic. So I'm looking forward to stitching that. And what is awesome is that when I got this fabric, I ordered it because I just really loved it, but I had no idea what I was going to stitch on it. This only uses just over half of it too. I've got a little bit left. So that's going to look really cool, in my humble opinion, when I've ever been wrong. I have been wrong, you just haven't seen those things, so you refer them. But also, you know, I'm happy to change colours as I go. So that's the other one that's kitted up. So that's 3 things that are kitted up in the box, and I got a few more that are fully kitted, but I've got a whole lot more that are that I need to order some silk for, or I need to order or find fabric for. So, you know, the search goes on. But that's pretty much it for today. My voice is croaky. I'm tired. I'm just I haven't been getting enough sleep. That's pretty much it. So I'm going to make a nice dinner. I'm going to make a kind of Thai peanut chicken on jasmine rice with, I'm going to make a little fresh little Thai salad to go with it, and it's going to be delicious, and that's what I'm going to have for dinner tomorrow night as well, because that's how I roll. Everybody keep well, get a vaccine, get vaccinated if you're offered the opportunity to get vaccinated. In New Zealand, hopefully lots more of us are going to get vaccinated soon, because the vaccines are starting to come into the country, which is really good. And have, you know, enjoy your stitching. That's all I've got. As always, don't let your needles rust. Ciao.